welcome to the Power Up Talk Show, a talk show where we bring together community leaders and inspirational people that are making a difference in the world. I am Sandy Spady, your host. Before we start our show, we always like to have a little fun with Deion Bass with Songbird Cocktails. Deion, hello, hello.
Thanks for having me on the show, Sandy. I hope you're having a good morning. I like charcuteries, and I never taste enough cocktails that really go with them. And so I wanted to make a dirty martini that absolutely went with the charcuterie. So while a lot of the magic happens off camera, essentially what I did was I took bell pepper and aged white cheddar and a little bit of saline solution, and I mashed them up in a nice blend with some wonderful vodkas. And this is what I came up with. Delicious. When these are done right and they're infused correctly, they are going to give you some nice saltiness, and you're actually going to taste something similar to what you taste while eating a charcuterie. And I hope you ladies enjoy.
Well, thank you, Deion. All right, welcome to this beautiful cocktail and my guest. Okay, let's give it a shot here. Okay. Ooh, so good. That is so good. I just want to eat it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm excited to introduce my beautiful guest. I don't know how we just match, and that's because we get each other. Felicia Janovich. She is a Live Hydration owner. She's a mother, a public speaker. She's also an entrepreneur, and she has 4 children under the age of 9. So welcome to the show, Felicia.
Thank you. So excited.
Oh my gosh. So I met Felicia when I worked for the Greater Omaha Chamber.
Yeah.
Signed them on as a member. And I remember getting my first IV.
Yep.
And your first location in your little tiny location.
Yep.
We have a picture out there, but we're not going to show it. And it was so amazing how you came up with that concept, right?
Yeah.
You and your friend, Casey, came up with this concept of Live Hydration. I really want to talk about a little bit about how you came up with that concept.
Yeah.
Both of you, friends, RNs, right?
Yep. Casey is actually a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
So
tell us about that.
Yeah. So ultimately, I was an ER nurse, and I just saw a huge gap in the healthcare. The patients that were coming in, sometimes were waiting 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 6 hours. And a lot of times they were getting a bag of fluid, and we were telling them to go to their doctor's office the next day. And, I was really, really focused on patient satisfactory. I want to do good. I have a people-pleasing part of me. And so when people are that upset waiting that long, and they're at their worst, right? It's not our position to judge somebody's pain. When someone says I'm at a 9 out of 10, they can't compare that to the car accident and the person that's nonverbal, right? Me as the nurse, I got to see both, right? So you have a choice in that moment. You can be upset with this migraine person who thinks a 9 is this compared to the car accident who is losing a limb. To me, that's a 10, right? That's my perspective. That person in their single room, you can't undervalue that 9. And they just need a place to go. Our health system is incredible. We can literally keep people alive. Our advancements are wonderful. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't give preventative care. Most people with a migraine know they're going to have one. People with the stomach flu know they're having it. But where do they go? They know what it is. They're not going to go to the ER when they start getting the lights or when they start feeling nauseous. They're going to wait until they're in the fetal position, dehydrated, and almost to the point of admission. So Live Hydration Spa gives people a place to go where they don't have any. It's just a gap in the healthcare system because we've advanced so much and can do such critical illnesses now. The people who just don't feel good don't have a place to go. So Live Hydration Spa gave them that.
That is beautiful. And I love how you have like a boutique of what you could put in it. Like if you're feeling, I want energy, if I want my immune system up. And the one thing I loved about it is having a daughter with type 1 diabetes is that a lot of times she really needed that IV, right? And like you said, to go to the ER room, you're not going to do it. And insurance is crazy. So like under $150, she can go when she's feeling down after a bad high or low with diabetes and get an IV. Like it's beautiful. I've done it. It's so great. How did you come up with a combination of all those?
Honestly, it's a collective, right? We used other industry experts, people from Arizona have been doing this for 30 years. We were the first one in Nebraska to offer it on kind of the client is the boss, right? You know if you're tired. One thing that I think is kind of lost is the communication and the relationship in healthcare. A lot of times we ask, are you tired? Yes or no, we move on. The real question is, why are you tired? Are you tired because you're not sleeping? Are you tired? You actually get 9 hours of sleep, but you wake up tired? There needs to be more depth to our conversations to really understand the person. You know, but sometimes you weren't asked the right questions, right? You could almost answer the questions themselves. It's our job in healthcare to help coach you and you to take autonomy of your life, because that's the only way you're going to actually change, you know, your lifestyle and your quality of life.
Now let some of the audience know that maybe have never done the IV. Like, how do you do it? What do you expect? How long does it take?
What's crazy to me is a lot of people will ask, are you an RN? Well, yeah, you should ask that question first. A lot of times people ask it after. So ours are all medically licensed, so they have the ability. Some in states it varies, but here ours are RNs that are in most of our stores. So that you can expect. There's just a catheter. There's no needle that stays in your arm. Most people will say it hurts less than a shot or a blood draw. A lot of people is faster than 30 minutes because we're so dehydrated, but it kind of is on your body and how much your body needs, and we can do it to comfort, to slow it down, because sometimes people will say that they're a little bit cold during it, but that's just because the fluid themselves is at room temperature and you're at 98 degrees. So it's expected that you feel a little bit of a cooling sensation, but ultimately most people are either scrolling on their phone, they take it time to make it maybe like a nap, or they'll bring a friend and they'll just enjoy, which I know that's your motto.
I've done that. I've also taken a nap with the cozy blanket. I watch my favorite series on. You have TVs there. You can do music. It's really a kind of a little spa treatment. Really, it's treatment for health wise that really you need.
Right.
I mean, so many times, women. I'm always for women, but people, we do not have enough hydration in our bodies.
No, not at all.
And so I love it. Like I said, my daughter, type 1 diabetes, she gets up and down, go get an IV. Right. And I like the option of, isn't there one for aging or something?
There's.
Double dose me for that. Yes, that is wonderful.
I don't really think you need it, but yes.
Oh, thank you. I just like how it's a fun experience. You feel so much better afterwards. And I think you do things for like bridesmaids and groomsmen parties. And do you go to people's houses sometimes? Or is that?
We do. We go to corporate events. There's a few local businesses that actually have us come every month. Like, let's say the second Tuesday of every month, their staff, their HR kind of arranges it. And it's really awesome for just like an employee benefit. A lot of people work 9 to 5. When are they going to have time to come in? So employers can have us come and the employees can do their treatments right at their desk. And the nurse just stays there for a couple hours. People can pre-book it. And again, it's bringing the availability to the community. That's what's really important. So people can walk in, you can invite us over. We have some people that have a standing monthly appointment at their home. So we really want to make it for the community.
So I didn't know all that additional stuff because I started, in the beginning, right? And I want to talk about that because was it 2018? 18.
Yep.
Where do you think have you seen it go, right?
Yeah.
Like you had one little location, and now there's locations everywhere. Like it has really grown. You can franchise it if someone wants to, right?
Yes.
How do you deal with that growth?
Honestly, you really just have to hold on, right? You can't prepare. I honestly believe we think, we'd like to believe that we're fortune tellers, right? When I hit this, I'll be happy. When I hit this, I'll know it all. And if I've learned anything over the last year, that's just not the case. Furthermore, your brain actually can't tell the future. It only can tell you on past experiences. So I liked this. So in your head, I want that more in the future, or I didn't like this. So our vision of our future, of where happiness is, sometimes we try to make it a destination, and it can't do that, right? So when I started Live with my business partner, I'll be honest, we had no idea where it was going to go. We had no idea how the public was going to receive it. And thank goodness, because we cared about relationships, and that's where our roots are, it really did grow. So now my business partner leads, she's the CEO and the owner of the franchise. I decided in my season of the life I was going to stick with my store and kind of pivot. So that's where I'm at now.
And that's my next question. It's like she can read my mind. I don't know what the deal is. Pivoting, right? I think in life we set ourselves up to where we feel we need to be at that time in our lives, what success we should have, or where we need to be. And with the Women with Voices group, so many women open up to me, and I'm like, just try where you think you want to be, but don't feel like it's a failure, right? Because if you don't do what you want to do, that's regret, and we don't want that. But it's okay to pivot.
Yes.
With my Power Up Masterminds program, we had Christy Anderson, broadcast personnel, went into commercial real estate, and her whole workshop was on pivoting.
Yeah.
How do you pivot? What's your exposure, and how do you do it?
Well, one, you have to be willing to pivot, right? You have to be willing to not necessarily have your eye on one single prize, right? Our lives are built. One of the first opportunities I had to speak with you and with Women with Voices is pillars, right? Sometimes we get so caught up in a season of motherhood, business, daughter, wife, whatever that is, and we so tightly grasp to these roles that we truthfully are going so fast and filling it that we don't actually know who we are. I feel like that's when you can't pivot, when you're stuck in these roles and these tasks that I have to do. One thing I had to do and humble myself with was to honestly let it go. Like, let go of what my vision of success was. I realized your definition of success and mine are different. Yeah. I mean, was wild to me, right? Once you get out of your mind, we're actually in our own reality, right? In our own perceptions. And so why is it that we want to stick in ours, right? This is how I mother. This is how I'm a daughter. This is how I'm a sister. And I was finding myself doing it because either somehow, some way, a social norm told me that's what a mom does. Yeah. A mom does, a wife does. And a lot of those things, I wasn't happy. They didn't bring me joy. They didn't bring me closeness. I started recognizing, man, how many things am I doing in a week that bring me joy versus something I have to do? Once you strip all that away, it's kind of a naked, vulnerable, scary feeling. Yeah. And you only pivot then. You only have no other option because you only pivot towards joy and happiness in those moments, not what you thought, what could be, that hasn't even happened yet, or living in regret. You make the best of what it is now.
And that was interesting because you were our second month of our first Women with Voices speaker,
yes.
Topgolf. We were planning on having 3 speakers, but Rosa Kennedy, a great friend of mine, she couldn't speak that day, yeah. But was so wonderful because I love my hospitality friends. And Topgolf made it because she was dealing with leukemia. Yeah. And so we had a fundraiser. We wore Team Rosa t-shirts. And so she couldn't speak. They brought her in on a Zoom. Yep. And it was beautiful. And just that whole, you were vulnerable that evening. Mm-hmm. That's what's so great about Women with Voices is that women are safe to share their story. Yeah. And some of them have never shared their story. And it just frees you. And it just is wonderful that you can be that first year. Yeah. And now this year, she's coming back again. And this time with your experience of being an entrepreneur, franchise, owner, and now stepping back and pivoting. She's going to be a breakout speaker at the Women with Voices Summit. Right. Fearful Future, January 25th. Tell us a little bit about what are you going to talk about in this breakout session?
I mean, it's okay to change your mind, right? And I think that's something that a lot of women, myself, struggle with even today. Like, I can choose something today. I could really like it. I could have a thought about something, an opinion, and with open communication and flexibility to pivot, Sandy, you could change my mind, because I'm allowing you to change my mind. Sometimes we just want to stick in this very rigid mindset. And that's not how we're supposed to be. That's not how you build relationships. You put yourself on an island, and that island is lonely when you do that. So really speaking what we don't say is so important, and allowing ourselves to change and allowing ourselves grace. Because for me, for an example, my current situation is completely different than it was 2 years ago or in 2018. 2018, I had one child. 2020, I had two. Like, so to think that I'm going to act the same, have the same experiences, shame on us for thinking that we aren't going to change our mind, because that means we're not growing, right? I'm supposed to change my mind. I'm supposed to change my thoughts and perspective. I'm supposed to use my experiences to be wiser. And we should celebrate that, right? It shouldn't be like, you're a hypocrite. It shouldn't be, well, that's not what you said. I'm allowed to change my mind. Currently, I separated from my children's dad. I have love and respect for him, but I'm in a different financial situation today than I was a year ago. So my decisions and choices and perspective are different. So for anyone to hold me to something that I said 2 years ago, or my opinion, the question should be, hey, has that changed? You have gone through a lot this year, Felicia. What's changed? And if somebody looks at you and says, oh, I have it, that's sad, right? That means that they're not allowing themselves that grace and flexibility to pivot. They're sticking into something that, that idea might have brought them joy then. And I just think as women, we have so many different social influences of what it should be, that we're not always looking at what it is and being okay and being happy in that. And that's one thing I love about Women for Voices. I have not met anyone that isn't for me in that moment, in that season. There isn't judgment. There isn't shame. There isn't, well, I did this, so you should do it, right? All beautiful women inside and out, all very, very successful. But I mean, honestly, if you asked all of us to define success, we probably all have a different goal.
Absolutely.
None is less significant. And so really just building that tribe and changing our culture, really, I want to do it for my children. Going into college, high school. I would tell you right now, in high school, I had no friends. I would tell you I didn't feel like I had a tribe. I would tell you it was lonely and sad. I would tell you college, I was faking it. I was trying to fit in. I wanted to be liked. I would tell you after that, I was trying to find my mark, right? I was trying to find, what am I supposed to do? But I was lost because I didn't have that foundation. I didn't give myself that grace. And no offense to anyone in my upbringing, I had great mentors and parents, but it wasn't taught, it wasn't said, right? So I want to change that. I want to change the way we coach women and children and men, and teach them that just because this group of women are powerhouses, just because they're successful, does not mean they want to be masculine. Doesn't mean they want to be a masculine energy, right? Like, I still want the man to lead. I still want that. I'm still can be vulnerable, and we should still realize it's okay to be that. But it's funny, in this world of success, right? The definition of success, a lot of women lose that. I thought to be a CEO, I had to be hardened. I thought no is no. If not, I was emotional or defensive, right? So I lost some of that. But what makes me great is that energy.
Yeah, and what I love about you just defined your detour, your pivoting, and now I can't wait. I'm ready for that breakout. I'm like, how am I going to do 4 breakouts? We're going to videotape them or something. So I'm really excited for that, because it's going to be a wonderful breakout, because you have knowledge, right? And you have detoured, you have pivoted, and now you're on your next chapter.
Yes.
And no one says it has to be all planned out, right?
No.
You just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Now, how do you deal with it? Because I know 4 children under the age of 9.
Yep.
Separated. We were just talking about hockey. You have hockey games coming up, and you're busy. How do you balance out being an entrepreneur, business owner, starting a new whatever, public speaker, mother. How do you balance all that? Because so many times I think women get down on ourselves for not like being the mom we thought we were supposed to be. It's just the balancing act, right? How do you do all that?
So one, I let go of those social, what it should look like, right? So sometimes, like, I will use dinner time. There's something about dinner time and getting the kids ready for school, right? One thing I did for getting the kids ready for school, so often I was almost like yelling at them, right? It's like I have this vision of people like going to church on Easter morning or Christmas, and the mom is just screaming at the kids, right? They're losing, like, they are mad, and then they walk in, right? And it's like, gosh, all that energy, that negative energy, we're screaming at each other to look like we've got it together and to walk in and do the right thing, right? So I have a timeout periods. When I catch myself doing that, I have to realize that, actually, I have this quote from a client from that little room. She said, man, parenting, I said, parenting can be really hard. At that point I had 2 kids, and she goes, no, only when you're you're trying to do something selfish. And I was like, what? She's like, well, when you're trying to cook, yeah, you're frustrated, and parenting can be hard. If you stop, it's the simplest thing you've ever had to do. It is the simplest time they're so concrete and their minds are so focused on you. Right now before 9, they listen to you. It only gets harder, right, when they have their own. So you're the most influential right now. Coming to my time to pivot, right? I kind of had that voice in my head. Like, I would come home and I would be really, really patient all day. People at work, customers, vendors. I'd come home and I'd snap at the kids. Why couldn't I bring that same grace, patience, and kindness to them? Well, I had to, right? I had to put on that act and that face. But then my kids got the worst, right? They got the short-tempered mom. That's when the guilt came in for me. That's where it was. So one, you have to identify it. So to balance it out, what I said, something had to give. So either I was going to have to, obviously I'm not going to snap at my vendors. I had to pull back. I had to pull back on that pillar a little bit, because the pillars have to be in line. If I'm super successful CEO of 50 locations all over the nation, who cares if this pillar's here? Everything topples over, right? So to me, everything has to grow. So Live grew really, really fast, really fast in 2 years. And what happened to that pillar is I grew professionally. Didn't grow as a wife, right? I didn't grow as a friend, and I don't believe I grew as a mom. And so I needed to pull that back. I need my other pillars, because I believe I'll be even more successful in my next endeavor when all my pillars are aligned, right? Spiritually, that was off. My kids was off. And so now it's a timeout for them. So when I catch myself at that breaking moment, I'm like, all right, I guess we're going to school late. Who says that we have to be on time all the time, right? Like, I would rather my kids be 10 minutes late and leave with a peaceful, fun ride to school rather than me screaming at them.
Hurry up, hurry up,
hurry up, let's go, get your shoes on. And, okay, get out of the car. How terrible to leave for 8 hours, right?
Not
like,
seeing you
that's
again.
No, and then being separated, that's what really broke my heart, because then dad picked him up, right? So now I'm going 2 days without him. And I was like, no, this isn't how it's gonna be. Now, how does that social norm play out, right? I gotta tell the public school, I'm like, hey, my kids are late. I literally have to write in there, didn't work out this morning. Like, too slow. Like, I don't have a good excuse. And you know what? I used to feel like I had to make an excuse. Oh, doctor's appointment. Oh, there's, you know what, the excuse is the truth. Yes,
and
let
you
it
can't,
be.
And it's so true. And I love that you're being so vulnerable right now. I think it shows you how your growth since I've met you, and just telling the truth, right? We don't have to be perfect, and we don't have to have everything figured out, but you just got to have the right mindset, and take the time for the ones that matter.
Well, and lean in, right? If I had it all and I had it figured out, I'm not actually maximizing my tribe that you've graciously created for us, right? Because I wouldn't need anything. If I knew it all, what am I leaning into? Why do we even need a network if you know it all? We need to strip that down in society and realize then you're only going to the network, and you're only being a part of this group for the image of it, right? The image of, I'm a part of it. What do I get? Because I know it all, right? If that's how you're running through life. But the minute you strip it down, man, you'll grow so much faster, because the only thing is it's a little uncomfortable, right? Because it's what we've known. We've kind of masked we've masked that in vulnerability is something bad, right? Like being humble. Humble, I just saw this the other day. being humble is just, I got more to learn.
Ooh, I like
Right? Like,
that.
let's change the perspective. Why is it bad? Someone once told me, I
that's
just
really
learned this.
good.
I learned this year at 36 years old, that, did you know selfish shouldn't be a negative word?
Okay.
I grew up with selfish
Yeah,
being,
yeah,
don't
you're
be
being
selfish.
selfish,
Don't be
yeah.
selfish. Well, that led me to a very empty box, right? I was giving to everyone. I was going to all these things for everyone else. Well, none of that brought me joy. My relationship with my kids, my friends, us, my community, that has gotten me way further. You know, that's going to get me into my next chapter because I was able to.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to allow it first.
Yeah, you have to allow it. You have to be able to be humble, and people want imperfect people. I always say my quote is, I'm perfectly made.
I love it.
Imperfectly made.
Yes.
Right? Because when you're trying to put up that front, it's never going to work. It's too much
Right.
work. Just be who you are. And the wonderful thing about Women with Voices Summit is that these successful women, right, all of you are going to share a little bit about your personal journey. It's not all about making money, make the 6 quotes, 6-figure quotes or whatever, all that jive talk. I sold advertising. It's like jive talk, but it's good. But I'm like, it's the honesty, the humility, and just like, I was there, I've been there. This is how I dealt with it. And that's what Women with Voices is so great about. It's really about the journey, personal journey, not professional journey, but it all blends in together.
Well, in timing, right? I know the event, some people are going to look at the event time and be like, man, it's close to this. It's not going to work here. I have this. Everyone has something, right? There's no perfect timing. People sometimes, going back to, where I started this, of happiness isn't a destination. Once I hit $100,000, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
Today, everything I have today was a dream 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But so many times we don't sit in that, like, wow, thank you to your spiritual leader. To me, it's Lord. Like, thank you, Lord, for giving me this. Thank you for giving me the strength to get through it. Thank you for getting me to this point, because right now I want more, but this is everything I only dreamed of having. And sometimes we forget that. Like, you are living in what you wanted, because you wouldn't have gotten here if you didn't want it, right? So we got to sometimes go back a little bit and realize, like, man, I have really come far. Like, I love hearing stories of, man, I remember when you were in an 800 square foot room or a 1,200 square foot.
I have a picture.
I'm like, well, to me, someone was, well, how did you know when to start? I'm telling you right now, in the middle of 2020, being pregnant, that's not a time that I'm like, let's start a franchise today. Like, there has not been one thing. It's like having a child. Like, I'm ready. No, you're not. Nobody's ever ready. You're not ready. It is the bravery to just do it, right? To do it and learn from it, because I think the one thing that successful people do is they just do it, and then they pivot and they make it better, because some people try to plan it to death and then you've missed the opportunity.
I love that.
Being brave enough and having the tribe that just supports you doing it, I will say most people, when Casey and I brought Liv up, they're like, that's not gonna work. That you're gonna open a hangover bar? I'm like, no, we're not. That's not, no hangovers. It's actually not on the menu, right? There's no hangovers on the menu. I'm like, if you're that hungover, you're gonna order pizza and not leave your bed, right? That's not what we're doing.
I love that.
Even my parents, truthfully, I've had so much love and support for me. However, in that, they're like, I can't believe it grew. I can't believe you got 2. I can't believe you friends. Like, they would always say that. And if I would have waited for society to say, okay, Felicia, you should open it, it would have been about now.
I love that.
Why, I would have missed it, right?
Wow. Okay, this is just a taste of what you're going to get. You want to come to the summit and follow. How do we find you?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, I'm there. I love the personal connections, so don't be scared to, just throw a message out there. Tell me how you saw me. You don't even have to. I reach out to all of them, because, again, personal relationships and growing my tribe is really, really important. So,
well, thank you for being on my show.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You're going to pivot, but just know that's where you're supposed to be at that moment in time. So remember, just do it. Have a great day, and remember, you're worth it.